So when we graph hyperbolas, we have to know a couple things about that. Now remember, ellipses, if I took the focus points distance to a point on the ellipse and added them together, I would get the same thing. With a hyperbola, if I take the distance from one focus point minus the distance from the second focus point, I would get all the same answer for what's on a hyperbola. Okay, so just slightly different. Hyperbolas and ellipses have a lot in common except like the negative switch. Okay, so just be aware of that and try not to mix them up. Okay, so a horizontal hyperbola opens left and right. Okay, and we're going to label all the stuff that this has. This right here is the center. The vertices are what are actually on the actual graph. These are the vertices. Vertices is the correct way to say that. Okay?
What does that say?
Vertex. The co-vertex is not on the graph. The focus points, I'm just going to write F for focus point, are right here. And then super important, and you're going to love this because you have to graph extra stuff, are the asymptotes.
Wow, that's so nice.
I know, it's awesome, right? They're asymptotes. You know, like we can't ever cross them. It'll like give you 0 on the bottom or something, and you can't cross it, right? Doesn't exist. Okay. Try to do the next ones. You can just leave letters like V for vertex, CV for covertex, C for center, F for focus, A for asymptote. You try to do them on your own, real quick. Okay, so this is the center. These are both vertexes. These are both focus points. These are your co-vertexes. And these are your asymptotes. Okay? Vertical opens up and down. Okay? All right, the center. HK is the midpoint between the focus points. So if you don't know what the center is, it's the midpoint between the focus points. The asymptotes are the diagonals that guide the curves, so we know where to draw the curve in. Vertices are the turning point, or turning points. That's when it starts going from going down to going back up, right? The bottom of my bowl is plus or minus A, units away from the center. The co-vertices are plus or minus B, units away from the center. And the focus points are plus or minus C from the center. Okay, the formula to find C for this is a little different than what we did before.
Are you going to give us the formula?
I'm going to give you the formulas, but not what A, B, C mean. Okay, so the formula for C is C squared equals A squared plus B squared. Okay, so that's a little bit different than what we did before. It is Pythagorean theorem, right? Can we shut the door so we don't hear the hallway?
Now, with parabolas, do like the A is like the braces, co-braces, and then foci.
Parabolas are a little bit different. They're easier, right? Because there's no asymptotes, you know, all of that. So I will put that one up on the board too. So you can do that for your project, but it will not be in your quiz. Okay. All right. Standard form, if it is horizontal, it is x minus h squared over a squared minus y minus k squared over b squared equals 1. Do you guys see what the big difference is from ellipses?
Correct.
There's a subtraction sign, yes.
Can you read that again?
Yep. X minus h squared over a squared minus y minus k squared over b squared equals 1.
That's horizontal.
That's for horizontal. Okay. So for vertical, what do you think it's going to be?
A and B.
The same thing, but A and B are switched.
Close. Y minus k squared over a squared minus x minus h squared over b squared equals 1. This is for vertical. Y minus k squared over a squared minus x minus h squared over b squared equals
One side
1.
of the bottom is switching, this time the top is switching.
Correct.
Is there a way exactly?
Yes. All right. Asymptotes, depending on if it's vertical or horizontal. If it is horizontal, it's y equals plus or minus b over a times x minus h plus k. If it's vertical, it's y equals plus or minus a over b x minus h plus k.
Move it up a little bit. R, does that say RK?
Plus.
Plus K.
Yeah, sorry. Yes,
Are we going to have a test on this, or is the project?
we're having a quiz, and then the project's going to be like your final
Is
assessment.
the quiz on everything?
Is the project in blue straight green?
Should. Depends how well you do on it, of course. But yeah. All right, graphing hyperbolas. So if you're not finished writing, keep writing. I'm just reading this checklist below. To graph a hyperbola, you need to, 1, write the equation in standard form, or have it given to you. 2, graph the center, HK. 3, graph the vertices, using the first denominator, A. 4, graph the covertices, using the second denominator, B. 5, use the formula c squared equals a squared plus b squared to graph the focus points. 6, write the equations and graph them for the asymptotes. Then you can finally write in your hyperbola. Okay, let's turn it over. We're going to do a graph. We're going to follow all of these steps, okay? All right. Step 1. Is this equation in standard form? Yes. Step 2, what's the center? 0, 0. So let's graph 0, 0. Because there's nothing being added or subtracted to the x and y's on top. Okay. Now, I need to find what A is in order to graph the vertices. What's A? Squared. Try again. 4. It's not like with ellipses. In ellipses, it was whichever one's bigger. For hyperbolas, it's always which one is first.
Oh, okay. So it don't matter if it's big or small.
No. So what's A going to be?
Plus or minus 2.
Plus or minus 2. So since this is a vertices, it's under x. Okay? It's horizontal. Because x came first. What am I going to write in?
2 dots on the
2, comma, 0, and? Okay, let's graph those 2 points. Going to go to the right 2, up 0. Going to go back to the center. Then going to, not the center of the, no, we go going back to the origin. Then I'm going to go left to up 0. So I've graphed the vertices. Now I need to graph the co-vertices, so I need to find out what b is. What's b squared?
9
So what's b?
plus or minus 3. So it'd be 0, 3, 0,
Correct. 0 up 3. 0 down negative 3.
What is
This looks like our ellipses.
Hold on. Now I need to graph my focus points. What are they? I'm going to have to do c squared equals a squared, which is 4, plus b squared, which is 9. What's 4 plus 9? C squared equals 13, so c equals, or is approximately, plus or minus 3.61. Since it's horizontal, how am I going to write these focus points? 3.61 comma 0 and correct. Let's graph those. So I'm going to start at the origin, go to the right 3.61, start at the origin, go negative 3. Okay. Have to find the asymptotes. Now it is horizontal. So I know it is y equals plus or minus b over a x minus h plus k. So what's b? So I'm going to go 3 over 2 x, right? Because everything else is 0. So you can put x minus 0 plus 0 if that helps.
We still put the plus.
And then we're going to have y equals, hold on, negative 3 over 2 x minus 0 plus 0.
Wait, where'd you, oh, because it's plus or minus.
Yes.
Zoom in a little bit.
Mhm.
You just like keep it there for a second.
Yep. JR, I'm not too absent. Yes, I would do one for positive and one for negative.
You have to put plus or minus in front.
You do not if you do them separate like that. You can, but it's harder to remember how to graph them. Did I see your homework from last night?
What's H? Is Murphy?
H is the x value for the center.
X value?
K is the y value for the center. They are both 0, correct? Now I'm going to graph this. So I'm starting at the origin. I'm going to go up 3 over 2, up 3 over 2, up 3 over 2. Or starting at the origin, going down 3 over negative 2, down 3 over negative 2, down 3 over negative 2. Draw a dotted line. Now I have to do my second graph. I'm going to start at 0, 0, and I'm going to go down 3 to the right 2.
How do you know you're starting at 0, 0?
You always do. Well, that's where it crosses, right? Like, it's y equals mx plus b, right?
Yeah.
The b 0. This is the m. This is the b. It's 0.
So what's the X minus 0?
I mean, you would distribute that, and you would get. So you get. Okay, once you distributed everything. So I'm going 0, 0, down 3 over 2, down 3 over 2, down 3 over 2, or up 3 over negative 2, up 3 over negative 2, up 3 over negative 2. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to draw a box through the vertices, co-vertices, and the asymptotes. So see how this is forming right here? That's my box. Okay. It's horizontal. Let me see if I can find a different color. It's horizontal, and the focus points are on the horizontal, so I remember that. So I'm following from my vertex along my asymptotes. All right, I want to do another one where the center is not 0, 0. So you can do your homework. So I'm going to go all the way down, and I want to do, I want to do number 4. So once you have that drawn in, let's go to number 4.
So you just draw from the vertex. Now how do you?
Yes. Vertex.
What is the y equals 3 over 2x plus 0? Just because.
One's this way, one's this way. It's to tell you where your lines have to go.
Do we have to put it on top?
Number 4. Okay, you guys remember the steps? What do I do first? Is it? Yeah. What is the center? Negative 1, 3. Very nice. Notice she put it in the right order because the negative 1 went with the x and the 3 went through the y. See where the x is? That's the x value of the center. See where the y is? That's the y value of the center. Now, y comes first and then x, so that means it's what?
Vertical.
Vertical. Okay? Okay. I'm going to graph the center, so I'm going to go negative 1 up 3. There's my center. All right, now we need to find the vertices. What's A? What's A squared? 36 is always the first one. So what's A? What is it?
Plus or minus 6.
There we go. Now remember, the A is going to go with the y value. And remember, I have to add that positive 6 or subtract that negative 6 from the center. So, what is the vertices going to be? Not 0. Negative 1, 9, and negative 1. Negative 6 plus 3 is? There we go. So I'm going to graph those points. I'm going to go to the left one, up 9. I'm going to go to the left one and down 3. Okay? Vertices are. Now I'm going to find what? B for my co-vertices. B squared equals 9, so B is plus or minus 3. Okay, what are my co-vertices going to be? Where am I going to put that 3 to? I'm going to add it to the center's x or the center's y? X. So I get 2, 3, and?
Negative 4, 3.
Correct. So now I'm going to graph those. I'm going to go to the right 2, up 3. I'm going to go to the left 4, up 3. Bless you. Okay, what am I going to do next? I'm going to find foci. And to find the foci, I've got to find C, right? C squared equals A squared plus B squared. So C squared equals 36 plus 9. So C squared equals 45. So C is approximately plus or minus 6.71. Okay. So you're going to change the y's, correct, because it's vertical. So I'm going to get negative 1, 9.71. And I'm going to get negative 1, negative, 3.71. So I'm going to graph those. I'm going to go to the right, the left one, up 9.71.
Wait, it's negative 3.
3.71. And then I'm going to go to the left. Yes.
How did you get 2 fake for co-vertices?
How did I get to?
Negative 1 plus 3 is
Negative 3 plus negative 1 is negative 4.
Oh,
Positive 3 plus negative 1 is 2. Okay, now I have to find my asymptotes. So it's going to be y equals, what's going to go on top? A, right?
wait. Oh, because it came first.
Plus or minus. Yeah, remember, vertical and horizontal have different ones. So A is 6 over 3 x plus 1 plus 3. Now I'm going to change these into two different equations, and I'm going to put them in y equals mx plus b form. So first, 6 divided by 3 is 2. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 1 is 2 plus 3 is 5. Okay? And then y equals, we know this is 2, right?
Wait, hold on.
Wait, what'd you just do?
Wait, 2 times. Why did you do 2 times
2 times 1, because I have to
1?
distribute,
Okay,
right?
to distribute.
Okay. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2 plus 3 is 1. Positive 1.
Wait, where'd you get the 5?
2 times 1 is 2. 2 plus 3 is 5.
Oh.
Okay? So now I'm going to graph both of these. I'm going to start at 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to go up 2 over 1. Up 2 over 1. Or down 2 over 1. Down 2 over 1. And I'm going to make my dotted line. At 5, right? Because it's y equals mx plus b form. You start at the b on the y. That's the y-intercept. So the next one, I'm going to start at 1. Yep, and I'm going to go down 2 over 1 for this one. Or up to negative 1. Okay.
Can't you just start from the
What?
You can start from the midpoint.
You mean the center? 'Cause
That's what that's
no, you have to start it from the y-intercept.
why.
I mean, I guess you don't do that. 'Cause it hurts my algebra 1 head.
Why are we using 5?
wait a second. My second.
Yeah, wait, why are we using
Y equals negative 2x plus 1 was not intersecting at y-intercept.
Did you start at actually 1?
Oh, I started at 1 on the x.
That's why. Okay. Now I'm going to draw a box through my vertex, through my co-vertex, hitting my asymptotes. You guys see that?
Yeah.
Then I'm going to make my hyperbola through my vertex along those.